I am in love with David Beckham, and let me tell you why. My name's James, and welcome to the Dav Parade. This is my sports compendium where I speak about some loved and some not so loved sports people and events, whilst bringing them and their stories to life through cards, stickers and tickets. There's no better place to start than with my favourite footballer of all time and someone I've had a very unapologetic, unoriginal and probably slightly unhealthy love for since the age of 5. Mr. Surely One Day Sir David Beckham, the cultural phenomenon. Despite being born in Leytonstone, East London, he came through the academy at Manchester United and graduated as part of the fabled class of '92, winning the FA Youth Cup in May that year. He made his professional debut 4 months later against Brighton at the Goldstone ground, where the Brighton fans even had the audacity to shout, "Who the effing hell are you?" Here's a programme to the game, in which sadly has no reference to David in it, but you can see Brighton's traditional colours of blue and white. And actually, here's a match ticket to the game as well, which, if you're wondering why it's in a plastic case and you don't know, PSA stands for Professional Sports Authenticator, and they're an American-based company who verify and authenticate various collectibles, trading cards, tickets, and numerous other things. They can assign a condition grade between 1 and 10, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. And if you can just see here as well, there's like a certification number here. You can go on PSA's website, input that in and verify it. But enough of that stuff. I care about the ticket. And if you feel one of these in hand, it actually feels almost really quite thin, like quite receipt-like, which is why it's a really good idea to have it in plastic, actually. But I just love it. It's just, this is history, isn't it? I mean, you can see the Brighton seagull there, old crest. The seagull actually flies the other way now. I don't know why they changed it. But this is just history, isn't it? Imagine being at that match and seeing David Beckham's professional debut before you even knew that it was David Beckham. You'd think it was just some 17-year-old kid on there who, you know, is running onto the pitch for his debut and nobody really cares, to be honest. And amazing. I mean, this person got to see that and wouldn't even know what they were witnessing. Incredible. Sadly, David wasn't seen again in the Manchester United first team after his seaside outing for 2 years, next reappearing about as far away from the seaside in England as you can get in the Midlands in Stoke-on-Trent for a match in the same competition against Port Vale, in which fellow Manchester United and class of 1992 alumnus Paul Scholes made his professional debut. Scholes actually scored twice in that game, but we'll speak about this match in a little bit more detail in another video because it's actually a very interesting parliamentary story to do with that game. As for Beckham's true impact, could probably be best described as quite sporadic during that. However, there were some important career milestones. His first professional goal against Galatasaray on his Champions League debut in a dead rubber. His FA Cup debut against Wrexham. And then also his Premier League debut against Leeds, and unfortunately in a 0-0 stalemate, where he wasn't able to impact anything there. In between the Wrexham and Leeds match, he actually managed to fit in a month-long stint at Division 3 club Preston North End, where he made 5 appearances and scored 2 goals, including one on his debut direct from a corner. However, he truly made his breakthrough during the 1995-1996 season, where he scored his first Premier League goal on the opening day of the season as a consolation effort in a 3-1 defeat against Aston Villa. A game best known where Alan Hansen on Match of the Day that evening famously said,
"You can't win anything with kids."
Now, if you haven't caught up with the 1995-1996 Premier League season, spoiler alert, an awful lot was won by Ferguson and his kids, in which Beckham played a huge part in that double-double winning team that season. This season also saw his first rookies come to the fore, with this LCD card being one of them, showing him in the black chain shorts, the old school mitre football and action shot. It is of questionable licensing, but I do like this card quite a lot, and it's amazing to think there's a time when he had 0 international caps as well. He's got the Pro Match card as well from a set, which is often regarded as ghastly, not particularly popular, but I like it. It's early Dav, and he's got a nice photo on the back there in that grey strip. And then finally, from card issue ways, he's got a Subbuteo Squads card from a trading card game. Again, this time the white home shorts and an action shot. This one's a little bit smaller. Still quite a nice card nevertheless. But if I think of a David Beckham rookie, what comes to my mind is his sticker from the 1995-1996 Premier League album. Now here's the hardback binder album, and as you can see, Beckham resides on the Manchester United page, and that's him in the album. Just move that out of the way for the moment. That's him in the album. There we go. And here is him with an unstuck version of the sticker, which is a PSA 7, as can be seen. And look at him. Brill cream, coiffed locks, cheeky little grin. Look at him. 20 years old. The world at his feet. And on the back, a question. Did you know Mark Steen, Chelsea striker? We'll speak about him a little bit actually in another episode. But yeah, an important thing regarding this back, this is what the standard back. There's a Shreddies back, which I'll bring up as well. It was found in the Shreddies cereal. It's quite a nice back, but yeah. That's it for Beckham rookies that year. He has more interesting cards and stickers from the 1996-1997 season, including his first Panini sticker from the PFA Super Players set. This one again in a PSA 7. And he's actually also got one of my personal favourite items of his, which is the Sky Sports sticker set, which shows him celebrating a goal in the 1996 Charity Shield, now known as the Community Shield, as part of a 4-0 win against Newcastle. I especially like this sticker because it was actually a game that 6-year-old James was at Wembley. But to be honest, in terms of Beckham impact, that pales in comparison to the seismic reaction and impact that he had the following week, which is when the halfway line goal happened. Now, the opening day of the Premier League season was meandering towards a comfortable 2-0 victory for Manchester United against Wimbledon in what looked like a tricky match at Selhurst Park when Brian McClare intercepted the ball and it just rolled to David Beckham, and he spotted keeper Neil Sullivan off his line, and then, well, he goes and does that, and he became pretty much a front page and back page phenomenon off the back of that goal. As for that goal, and as for the tickets for that match, there are a few different types of ticket. There's the, here's a PSA version of the halfway line goal ticket, the light blue colour ticket that can be seen, this one of 5. And then it does, that sort of Selhurst Park issued, that Wimbledon issued variant does come in a few different colours. I think there's a purple one I've seen as well, but this is like a pinky red. However, there's another type of ticket, and that's the Ticketmaster issued one. Now, I like the Ticketmaster one, but I think that I like the Wimbledon one. It's a bit more unique, but I do really like I do really like the refractor effect on this one, which just gives a little shine in the light, which is nice, the old security holographic foil. It's also one of the images for his most popular cards, the Merlin Premier Gold 1996-97 card, which shows him celebrating that goal, arms out, just basking in the adulation of the masses, and it's even referenced on the back in the description there. So I really like this card for him as well. It was a busy few weeks for him, actually, because he even made his England debut just a few weeks later. Whether it was off the back of the halfway line goal, who knows truly, but here's a unused ticket to that England-Moldova World Cup qualifier where he made his debut. You can see the France 98 logo there and the Moldova in England, and on the back, again, some stadium information. So yeah, it was a busy time for him. After winning another title in 1997, he missed out the following year to Arsene Wenger's Arsenal, but it wasn't all doom and gloom. He inherited a number 7 shirt from the retiring Eric Cantona, and some nice cards and stickers were released. We started to see his first England cards, of which there are others, but his sort of first official release was from the Upper Deck England set. This is the chase card. You can denote the chase from the base because of the 3 lines print. This one's numbered to 5,000. And then he was also released as part of brands and confectionery, PG Tips, Bassett. And he's also got some nice Manchester United cards from that year. 2 special highlights being the Premier Gold Rainbow Foil insert, referencing his Young Player of the Year award from the previous season. Look at that shine on that one, that is lovely. And then the Lego Dream Team one, which runs pretty close to the Sky Sports, to be honest, for my favourite Beckham sticker. This one's it's called it's a redemption foil, and it was done when you sent off for it from the base Premier League sticker set, and really nice one, really nice shine on it, which doesn't show up too well, but blank back, but I really like this one. That season also had the small match of the World Cup in France at the end of it. Now, inexplicably, he was omitted from Panini's World Cup France 98 album, although to be fair, he did start the tournament on the bench with Darren Anderton, the Tottenham winger, preferred, and Anderton started against Tunisia and Romania. However, despite the omission from Panini's album, he did feature in some other sticker albums and sets, which were quite nice. There's Merlin's own England 98 set, which is a really nice one. There's quite a few stickers of him in his set, a portrait, a sort of double panel, an action shot and things. This is my personal favourite. Look at that one. Lovely sticker. And then a similar design from the Navarrete set. Which is a sticker album. And then more of a novelty one from the BP Petrol album, which is like a small collectible cards one. But after England's limp defeat 2-1 against Romania, Beckham was added to the starting lineup, where Anderson also started against Colombia. Now this was a brilliant match. It was a brilliant game. England managed to win 2-0, and we actually went to this game, which I'll maybe do another video. It's the only World Cup match I've ever been to. And we went with our 3 best family friends, well, the dad and 2 sons, and I was with my dad. And they're massive Tottenham fans, so they don't get to see many victories. And this was a big one. And the other goal scorer was Darren Anderton. And David Beckham scored his first England goal from a trademark free kick. So that was a great game for all involved. This victory against Colombia set up a crunch knockout tie with Argentina in Saint Etienne, a game famous for Michael Owen's superb solo goal at the age of just 18, where he cut through the Argentina defence and punished them with his searing pace, but it's infamous for Beckham's petulant kick out at Diego Simeone that resulted in a red card. England crashed out of the tournament on penalties, and Beckham was vilified as the sole culprit behind the defeat, with headlines such as "the 10 heroic lions, 1 stupid boy." And following this, the level of anti-Beckham vitriol reached fever pitch, such that effigies were being burned of him at one point. I don't have the ticket for this match, sadly, but it's of a similar design to the Colombia one. And when you think about it, I mean, the effigies now, it's remarkable to think how fondly he is regarded here now, just how much Beckham was hated. He was a vital part of Manchester United's treble-winning squad in 1999, and many more individual and team honours followed. And he gradually began to repair his reputation with England fans, such that he ascended to the captaincy in 2000, midway through the World Cup 2002 qualifying campaign. That qualifying campaign is remembered incredibly fondly by England fans, in no small part due to the astonishing 5-1 win away against Germany, and of course the pulsating 2-2 draw against Greece in the final match of the campaign. Now, finding themselves 2-1 down at home against an unfancied Greece in stoppage time, England were in need of some inspiration, and enter Beckham for what he's described as his finest moment in an England shirt, with a trademark curling free kick past the Greek keeper Nikopolidis and into the top corner. His redemption in the eyes of the public was complete, and in the spring he sustained a metatarsal injury against Deportivo in the Champions League quarter-final, which became a national obsession, with speak about oxygen tents and things. And in the lead up to the tournament, he was able to regain his fitness. Probably wasn't completely fit at the tournament, but there was the big Parkinson interview.
I call him Golden Balls.
Golden Balls was anointed, and in the tournament that summer, he'd already made himself, a hero again in the eyes of the public, but he vanquished his own personal demons with the match-winning penalty against Argentina, and Argentina featuring Diego Simeone. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be for England, with a 2-1 exit at the hands of Brazil in the quarter-finals, the eventual winners, but on a personal level, Beckham's stock couldn't be higher. However, despite him being a national darling, his relationship with Sir Alex Ferguson was beginning to deteriorate, with Ferguson fearing that his celebrity status was getting in the way of his football. It had been simmering for quite some years, but the 2002-03 season was one big final straw in their relationship, with the infamous Day of the Flying Boot, in which furious Sir Alex Ferguson kicked a boot in anger in the dressing room after Man United went out 2-0 in the FA Cup to bitter rivals Arsenal. He was so angry he kicked the boot and it accidentally hit Beckham just above the eye, causing a cut, and then this absolute media frenzy was created. This was compounded a few months later with the writing well and truly being on the wall when he was dropped for the second leg of the Champions League quarter-final against Real Madrid, in which United had to overcome a 3-1 deficit at Old Trafford. Beckham had been always such a huge part and a staple of the big occasions, but his omission from the starting lineup spoke volumes for his diminished status in the eyes of Ferguson, and from that point it looked pretty much irreparable. The match itself was an all-time classic, known best for a stunning hat-trick from the OG Ronaldo, Nazario de Lima, but Beckham reminded everyone of his immense quality when emerging from the bench, scoring 2 fantastic goals, one of which was a glorious free kick. The match finished 4-3 on the night to United, albeit with a 6-5 aggregate defeat overall. He won his final Premier League a few weeks later, lifting the trophy after the match against Everton, a 2-1 victory in which he signed off his United career with another direct free kick, his 26th in all competitions. His leaving Manchester United for Real Madrid in the summer of 2003 did not please an emotionally unadjusted 13-year-old sitting in Essex, England. I was absolutely devastated when he left, to be honest. My favourite player since the age of 5 had left, and I genuinely felt that he had abandoned me, which sounds so stupid now. But I was so angry. I mean, I was also so immature. There's this suction cup, one of those shirt suction cups, sitting on my mirror at home, and I scribbled out Beckham's name. It was one of the Beckham 7 ones. I scribbled it out, and I inscribed Ronaldo on it, which but in hindsight, watching him was difficult for the next few years, to be honest, at Madrid and even for England, but I think a bit of maturity allowed me to realise that it was probably time for Beckham to leave Man United. And probably about 3-4 years after he left, I saw the way that he fought himself back into the Real Madrid setup after being ostracised by Capello, after announcing in the middle of 2006-2007 that he was going to be leaving for LA Galaxy and the MLS. And I really began to admire him. He was a huge part of that La Liga winning team for Real Madrid in 2007, and just in retrospect, I really love Beckham and I admire him. He, for me, is a bit underrated because of the size of his celebrity. Therefore, I think a lot of people have said that he's overrated, but honestly, just for me, watching him, he was one of the most hard-working footballers on the pitch. His passing and crossing ability was unrivaled, and his ability to rise to the big occasion as well. His equaliser against Tottenham in the final match of the Premier League season 99, the first part of the treble. His Greece free kick, as we've spoken about, just huge moments, and I love him. I absolutely love him, and I hope you've enjoyed this video, which we could speak about so many other Beckham cards, stickers, tickets. I've chosen to focus on his earlier career stuff with Man United because that's what I know him best for. But I'd love to hear from you. What was your favourite sticker? What was your favourite card you saw? What's your favourite Beckham moment? Or any other moments that I haven't spoken about? Just hopefully you've liked it. If you have, consider subscribing to the channel, liking it and making a comment. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.